welcome to the Biological Life Sciences channel. Today in this video we are going to discuss about an important topic, that is 16S rRNA and 18S rRNA. rRNA here means ribosomal RNA. Okay, so ribosome is the important organelle which is present in the cytoplasm. Okay, so the main function of this ribosome is to synthesize protein. So it is an important protein synthesizing machinery. Okay, so not only ribosome, but ribosome it is present with different proteins. Ribosome and other proteins helps in synthesizing the functional proteins or different proteins in the body. Okay, so first of all, the ribosome was discovered in 1955 by scientist George Paradis. And the term ribosome was coined by Richards Roberts in 1955. Okay, so this was about the ribosome. So ribosome is composed of two different subunits. One is the larger subunit and other one is the smaller subunit. So let's see about the subunit in details. First of all, we are going to see the ribosome that is present in prokaryotic cell. Okay, so let's see first prokaryotic cell. Ribosome present in prokaryotic cell. Okay, so in prokaryotic cell the ribosome is 17S rRNA. Okay, so here S means Svedberg's unit. Okay, Svedberg's unit is the determination of density inside the centrifugation, density gradient centrifugation. So the unit given here is S. So the size or the density gradient in which the ribosome gets aligned in a density gradient centrifugation is called Svedberg's unit. So in the prokaryotic cell is having 70S ribosome. So now let's see how the division of 70S ribosome occurs. So there are two subunits here. The ribosome the structure looks like this. So it has two subunits. Upper one is the larger subunit and lower one is the smaller subunit. So let us see how the division is there. This 70S subunit is divided into two subunits, as I told you, larger and smaller one. So the larger subunit is of 50S in case of prokaryotes, and the 50S subunit is further divided into 20S subunit that is having around 2904 base pairs, or 2904 nucleotides are present in this RNA nucleotides. Then there is a 5S rRNA that is made up of 120 nucleotides. Then there are some proteins also. Around there are 31 proteins that are present in this. So okay, so even though the sum of 23 and 5S does not bring about 50, it doesn't mean that it is not 50. Actually it is 50S only, which combines the density of this 31 proteins also in it. So it becomes 50. Okay, so this is the larger subunit of the prokaryotic ribosome. Okay, now let's see what is the smaller subunit and how its division is. The smaller subunit in the prokaryotic cell is of 30S. Okay, so here the larger subunit is 50S and the smaller subunit is 30S. Okay, so here the 30S subunit is further divided into 16S rRNA, and the next is 5S rRNA. Okay, the 16S rRNA is made up of 1542 nucleotides. Okay, nucleotides of RNA. The wait, here there is no 5S rRNA. It's 16S rRNA. It is made up of 1542 nucleotides, and then there is the presence of 21 proteins. Okay, so this is how the division of the 70S ribosome, that is combined ribosome present in prokaryotic cell, is distributed. So these are the total, the density of this becomes 30S. Okay, so this is the configuration of prokaryotic ribosome. Now let us see what are the different ribosomes that are present in eukaryotic cell. So in eukaryotic cell the ribosome present, that is 80S, and the division of that is 40S and 60S. Okay, though the sum does not correspond to the 80S, but it is dependent on the density of the ribosome present in the density gradient centrifugation. So now let us see in eukaryotic. Okay, so in eukaryotic ribosome, there is a larger subunit and there is a smaller subunit. Okay, so this is the larger subunit, which is of 60S rRNA, and there is a smaller subunit, that is 40S rRNA. Okay, so these are the different subunits. So the total the ribosomal subunit here is 80S rRNA. Let's see how it is divided. It is divided into two parts. The first of all, it is 40S, that is smaller subunit rRNA, and then there is 60S rRNA. So now let's see how the 60S rRNA is being divided. The 60S rRNA first of all is divided into 28S rRNA. The 28S rRNA is having 4718 nucleotides in it, RNA nucleotides. Then it is made up of 5S rRNA. 5S rRNA here is of 120 nucleotides. Then again it is made up of 5.8S rRNA. This 5.8S rRNA is made up of around 160 nucleotides, and there are few proteins also. There are about 49 proteins here, and this combined weight or the combined density of this comes to be 60S. Okay, now let's see in 40S. 40S is first of all made up of 18S rRNA, and there are the 18S rRNA is made up of about 1874 nucleotides in it, that is 1874 nucleotides, and about 33 proteins are associated with it, so that it can make up the 40S rRNA. Okay, so this is how the configuration of the ribosome present in eukaryotic cell is there. Okay, so the 16S and rRNA and 18S rRNA are present in the smaller subunit of ribosome. Okay, so these two subunits, the 16S is present in prokaryotes, whereas the 18S rRNA is present in smaller subunit of eukaryotic ribosome. So these are very important because these are the sequence that hasn't changed over the time. Okay, so through the evolution, the sequence or the gene for 16S rRNA and 18S rRNA is conserved. Okay, so what we can do, we can use this sequence for the identification of species and phylogenetic analysis. Since these sequences are highly conserved for intraspecies organisms, and it will be hyper variable for interspecies. So within two different species, the 16S or 18S rRNA will be very different. Okay, but for the organisms or for the bacteria or the eukaryotic cell from the same species, the 18S rRNA will be exactly same. Okay, so therefore this sequence can be used for identification of the species, plus it can also be used for phylogenetic analysis. Okay, so now let us see in details about 18S rRNA sequence. So here the 18S rRNA sequence here has two roles. First is structural role. The structural role here is binding with mRNA and larger subunit. Okay, then it also helps, it is also having the different site, that is IRES. This IRES is internal ribosome entry site that is present on the upstream of anti-Kozak sequence. The anti-Kozak sequence is present. We know Kozak sequence is present in the mRNA of eukaryotic cell. So the Kozak sequence is having the start codon, that is AUG, within the sequence. Okay, so the this AUG is present within the Kozak sequence. Okay, so this AUG is present in mRNA. So anti-AUG sequence or anti-Kozak sequence will be present in the smaller 18S RNA subunit of eukaryotic cell. Okay, so now what happens? To the upstream of this anti-Kozak sequence, there is the presence of this IRES sequence. It is called internal ribosome entry sequence or site, where the actual binding of the larger and smaller subunit happens. So the positioning of the ribosome, proper positioning of the ribosome, that is EP and S site of the 18S rRNA, S site of the whole ribosomal subunit is done by 18S rRNA. So this is a structural role of this 18S rRNA. Now let's see what is the role in phylogenetic analysis here. So the 18S rRNA is highly conserved gene. So therefore it is also helpful in phylogenetic analysis. So it is having around 9 regions as in 16S rRNA from V1 to V9 region. Okay, so there are different regions that are highly conserved in this rRNA. We know that the exact sequence of 18S rRNA is about 1874 base pair. So here in this 1874 base pair, there is a different regions present that can be used as a molecular identification for different species. Okay, so they are highly conserved, so they also help in phylogenetic analysis of the species. Okay, so now let's see how the this 18S rRNA sequence is used for how this 18S rRNA sequence is used for identification, or how this sequence will be sequenced and then used for identification purpose. Let's see now how the 16S rRNA and 18S rRNA analysis can be done. Okay, so first of all, for this purpose you have to isolate the DNA and check its purity. Okay, so around 1.8 ratio of the absorbance at 260 divided by 280 nanometer if it comes, then the DNA is highly purified now. After that, the DNA is subjected for PCR. So you know that there are different primers that are available for the 16S and 18S rRNA. Okay, so using this primer, what we can do, we can put this whole DNA into the PCR machinery and all the PCR mix is added into that, and then the specific primers for 16S rRNA and 18S rRNA primers, and as well as the portion for which we want to amplify, or the portion or the region of the 16S rRNA and 18S rRNA that we want to amplify, that primers are added into this PCR mix. Okay, so the PCR primers are added and amplified. Okay, now what will happen in this amplification? It will generate a specific pattern of the 16S and 18S rRNA that is present in that. Okay, so now after that we have to do the gel electrophoresis. And isolate amplified 16S rRNA and 18S rRNA. Okay, now you can get the 16S and 18S rRNA in purified form. Okay, so now what you are going to do, you are going for sequencing of the 16S and 18S rRNA. Okay, so you are going to sequence that. So we know that the 16S and 18S rRNA sequence are not a very, it is not having a very large sequence. Okay, so it can be easily sequenced. So once you get the sequence, what you can do, you can go on the NCBI's website. NCBI's website. In that gene bank, you can select the 16S or 18S rRNA database, where you can go and blast it. Okay, so using the blast, you can get different kinds of sequences that matches with your particular sequence of the 16S rRNA. Okay, so the sequence matches with a particular species, that will be the species identification done here. And if the sequence is not matching with any of the species present in the 16S rRNA or 18S rRNA database in gene bank, that is NCBI's gene bank, then what will happen? Then the organism which we are studying or researching is a new organism. Okay, so thereby you can register that organism. So this is the whole process by which you can do the phylogenetic analysis. And once you align the sequence here, there is a software, different softwares are available, for example Clustal, Omega. So such kind of software you can use for the generation of phylogenetic analysis or phylogenetic tree. Okay, so the phylogenetic tree tells you that how and what is the relation between the particular species that you are searching, or the 16S rRNA sequence from that particular species that we are searching, and what is the relation between that. Okay, so the phylogenetic analysis, it is of different types. That different types of phylogenetic analysis can be done and checked how further the sequence or the species are related to each other, whether it is closely related or it is further related. Okay, so this is how the analysis of 16S and 18S rRNA is done. I hope you have liked the video. If you have any queries, do comment, share, comment and subscribe the channel. Thank you so much for watching.